Rosebud anemone waking up in the morning. Of course, the clownfish are hosting, the other fish are moving around. This anemone has never been target fed, and if you go back 6 months on my videos, you will see her as a little baby, just only 6 months ago. There's no protein skimmer in here. It's a small tank, about 60 gallons. If you look in the back, you'll see a homemade reserve tank with the algae in it. It's got 2 types of macroalgae. It's got Kato and the red Titan macroalgae. Look at this beautiful anemone. She is touching the bottom of the tank and the top. 6 months ago, she was no bigger than 2 inches in diameter. Now she can cover up to 10 when she wants. There is no direct current blowing on her. She's never target fed. And frozen brine shrimp is the dinner once a day at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The lights go on at 6 o'clock in the morning, and they go off at 5 with one little LED bulb in the center that we use that only covers the anemone, and the rest of the light shines off on these other corals. All the corals are set 6 inches apart from each other. It's all textbook, basically. And this is the result. Tank is kept super clean, as you can tell. There's virtually no bad algae growing in here. There's the bubble coral that's been putting out a lot of offshoots. Been very interesting. Thought I might share this anemone with you. As far as anemone care, it's not as complicated as people make it. You have to have your parameters right. We all know that. Lay off the target feeding. If you notice, there's a little tiny pump right here, and it's blowing a current straight this way. And that's where I drop the food using a little jigger glass. I dissolve the frozen brine, drop it right there, and it flows all this way. Covers all the corals. Does a very good job. And this is the result. You all have seen pictures of this tank, or if you haven't, you can go back on my videos and you'll see them. True, simple anemone care. And you got to have the mandarin. No, you don't, but it's nice to have a mandarin. Because if you have a mandarin, then that puts you in the situation of having to have the copepods, or isopods, amopods. And once you have those floating around, you'll see the little spots floating around everywhere. Those are the copepods. They also eat off of what's going around in the tank. So between that and the brine shrimp, you really don't need anything else. Our guy at one of the stores here in Houston had a whole tank full of them. He lost them due to temperature change. He was only feeding them brine shrimp, and they grew as big as this one. She is just massive at this point for an aquarium this size. Sometimes I think she's just going to crawl out of there and hang out on the table. Can you believe it? The anemone fish, the clownfish, they can actually go inside and hide. You won't even see them. Well, I hope it's been a helpful video. Keep your tank clean. Feed them brine shrimp through a current once a day. I don't recommend target feeding. I've done it before and lost anemones. I don't recommend feeding them fish because you have other fish in the tank. They'll wind up getting used to the fish. They're subject to eat your fish, especially when they start reproducing. You're not looking for them to split. You see a lot of videos about them splitting. Well, that's because of a parameter change. So you can force them to split if you want, or they can also release eggs and sperm at the same time. Read up on it through a marine biologist. Be sure you're listening to a marine biologist when you're trying to get the real in-depth details about these creatures. I'm sure it will help you as it's helped me. Until next time, that's anemone care, the simple way.